In a distant land of the east, there lived a poor woodcutter named Alibaba. He lived a humble life with his wife in a small house. They made their living by selling the wood he gathered from the forest in the city. Every morning he would wake up early, take his donkey, and head toward the forest. One day, while gathering wood in the forest, he saw a group of horsemen from afar. The horsemen were quickly approaching him. They carried dangerous weapons and had stern looks on their faces. Alibaba thought these men might be bandits. He immediately panicked and hid his donkey among the bushes. He himself climbed up a nearby tree and hid among the branches. The horsemen stopped right beneath the tree where Alibaba was hiding. From above, Alibaba carefully watched the men and counted them. There were exactly 40 of them. They all dismounted one by one and carried heavy sacks on their shoulders. One of them was different from the others. He walked in the front and gave orders to the rest. This man came before a large rock and shouted loudly, "Open, Sesame, open!" The huge rock opened like a door. Behind it was a dark cave. Alibaba could not believe what he saw and heard. The bandits entered the cave one by one with the heavy sacks they carried. After the last bandit went inside, the rock closed itself again. Alibaba was stunned by what he saw. He stayed up in the tree for a while longer. Then the cave door opened again. The 40 bandits came out one by one. This time, the sacks were empty. That was when Alibaba understood that these men were thieves and bandits. The leader of the bandits stood at the cave entrance and shouted, "Close, Sesame, close!" The rock moved like a giant door and closed the cave's entrance again. The thieves mounted their horses as if nothing had happened and rode away. Alibaba climbed down from the branches. He went straight to the big rock. He repeated the magic words he had heard from the bandit leader. "Open, Sesame, open." The cave door opened with a loud noise. At first, Alibaba entered the cave with fear. He was astonished by what he saw inside. The cave was filled from end to end with gold, silver, precious stones, and silk fabrics. Chests full of jewels were lined up, and sacks full of gold were piled up in places. Alibaba chose 3 sacks from them and carried them on his back. After leaving the cave, he said the magic words again. "Close, Sesame, close." The giant rock closed like a door. Alibaba loaded the sacks onto his donkey and quickly left the place. When he returned home, his wife met him with great curiosity on her face. because it was the first time Alibaba came home with huge sacks on his back. Alibaba asked his wife to close the curtains of the living room. Then he put the sacks down in the middle of the room and opened them one by one. When his wife saw the gold scattered all around, she was amazed. She asked Alibaba where and how he had found so much gold and jewelry. Alibaba told his wife everything that had happened. His wife said, "If so, let's first count these gold coins one by one, then dig a hole and bury them." Then she said she would go to Alibaba's brother Kasim's house to borrow a measuring bowl. Alibaba warned, "Don't let Kasim notice anything. Otherwise, he'll take all the money and leave us nothing. He is a very greedy merchant." His wife went to Kasim's house, knocked on the door. "We need your measuring bowl. If you allow us, we'll use it for one night," she said. Kasim found this strange. "You don't have that much money. What would you measure?" he asked. Alibaba's wife lied to Kasim, but Kasim knew how poor they were. So before giving the bowl, he smeared a little honey inside. Alibaba's wife went back home and began counting the gold coins one by one. Alibaba was burying the gold coins they counted into the ground. After burying all the gold, Alibaba's wife returned the measuring bowl to Kasim. Kasim turned the bowl upside down with great curiosity and saw a big gold coin stuck to the honey inside. All night he kept thinking about the source of this gold. He could not sleep. In the morning, he went straight to Alibaba's house. He asked about the gold stuck to the bowl. Alibaba, afraid his secret might be revealed, had no choice but to tell Kasim everything. Kasim, eager not to miss the opportunity, said, "Show me the cave at once, or I will report you to the bandits." Alibaba, having no other option, promised to take Kasim to the cave. So the two of them went to the forest together. Alibaba said, "Open, Sesame, open," and showed Kasim the treasures inside the cave. Then he said, "Close, Sesame, close," and the rock closed the entrance. Alibaba warned, "Let's go quickly. The bandits may come at any moment." But Kasim's mind was stuck on the treasure he had seen inside. The next day he secretly went to the cave with 2 mules. He stood before the rock and said, "Open, Sesame, open." The rock opened like a door, and Kasim went inside with his sacks. To avoid being seen, he also said, "Close, Sesame, close." The rock closed behind him. The jewels dazzled Kasim's eyes. He rolled over the expensive fabrics and wore golden bracelets on his wrists. Then he filled the sacks with as much gold as he could carry. But when he tried to leave the cave, there was a problem. Kasim had forgotten the magic words. Panicking, he began shouting whatever came to his mind. "Open door, open, open wheat, open, open barley, pear, apple." But the rock did not move an inch. Kasim was trapped inside. His heart began to pound with fear. He searched for another exit, but found none. Just then, he heard the footsteps of the 40 bandits. Terrified, he looked around for a place to hide. When the bandits saw the mules outside the cave, they became suspicious. They drew their swords and stood ready. The leader shouted, "Open, Sesame, open!" The lock opened. The bandits entered the cave and immediately saw Kasim. No matter how much he begged for mercy, they did not forgive him and punished him on the spot. When Kasim did not return home by evening, his wife became worried. She rushed to Alibaba to ask for help. Alibaba went to the cave to find out what had happened. There he realized that his brother had been caught by the bandits. He told Kasim's wife what had happened. They both decided to keep it a secret from everyone. A few months later, Alibaba and his wife moved into Kasim's house. They took over Kasim's business, expanded the shop, and became wealthier and wealthier. But they never neglected helping the poor. They gave money to anyone in need and even cared for stray animals. Meanwhile, the bandits realized that the treasure in the cave was decreasing. Their leader decided to find out who was responsible. He sent a man to the city to investigate the new rich people. The spy saw Alibaba giving gold coins to a poor man in the market. He secretly followed him home. That night, he marked Alibaba's door with a secret sign. The next morning, Alibaba's wife noticed the mark. She realized it was a bad sign. To confuse the bandits, she quickly painted the same sign on all the doors in the street. When the bandits came in the morning, they were shocked. Since every door had the same mark, they couldn't figure out which one belonged to Alibaba. So they had to retreat. This time, the bandit leader decided to handle the matter himself. Disguised as a merchant, he wandered around the market. He saw Alibaba shopping with gold coins and feeding stray animals. He followed him home. He knocked on the door and said he wanted to sell olive oil. Alibaba welcomed him and invited him in as a guest. That night, the bandit leader brought 40 jars of olive oil to Alibaba's house. But inside the jars, there was no oil. 40 bandits were hiding inside. While passing by the jars, Alibaba's wife heard whispers. "Shall we come out?" "No, not yet." She immediately understood what was going on. She ran to the kitchen and boiled a large cauldron of oil. Then she opened the jars one by one and poured the boiling oil inside. Thus, the bandits were silently neutralized. At midnight, the bandit leader came to the jars. "Are you ready?" he asked. When he received no answer, he asked again, "We will attack soon. Are you ready?" Still no sound came from the jars, so he opened one. What he saw terrified him. Realizing how greed and ambition can lead to disaster, he fled in fear. He never returned to that town again. From that day on, Alibaba and his family continued to use their wealth for good, and lived happily ever after.